All right. So, July, welcome to the pollinator session. All right. So, I'm going to cover marketing your online events or webinar or whatever you have going on. And um, we'll cover kind of the number one mistake that I see people making and dive into how to fix that mistake. And you guys are actually going to walk away with a worksheet that you can use for all your events moving forward. So I'll get into that in a minute. But welcome. My name is Christina Curry. I'm the CEO and founder of Sprout Creative. And I'm just going to head right into it. Okay, so what is an online webinar or event? So webinar it seems to be morphing into this overarching word for all online events. And it's kind of a generic interchangeable form, but there are a lot of different types of online events, which is fun to know and understand because it might spark an idea of something you could do that's unique to your service or your product that you offer. So I just wanted to kind of go through the different options, and this is not an exhaustive list, but it's like kind of the top 9 sort of overarching online events that you can host. So there's a webinar, which again is a general term. Workshop is a sort of deeper dive into a specific topic. A lot of times there is interactivity happening or homework that was assigned, things like that. And it tends to be a very funneled topic, a very buttoned up kind of topic. It's usually not broad in general. A forum is a lot of times like you can kind of tuck a panelist under a forum, but it's where sort of expert topics, speakers come together and kind of speak on that one topic or idea. And there's a lot of viewpoints being shared and communicated. And it's a good space to really learn and get a deeper dive into one topic. And then number 4, there's a seminar, which is typically a lecture format, and it's usually done by a professor or a teacher or someone that is a very high level kind of topic expert. And then convention, which I'm sure everyone knows what a convention is, but it's really a meeting of people for a common purpose. And conventions, I mean, they have conventions from all different, Comic-Con to I worked at a hotel that had a convention on romantic novels, and it was all the romantic novel authors coming together and the fans of those authors. That was really interesting because they popped up. You know how romantic novels have those very topless buff men with women at their feet, like, and a breeze blowing their hair back. Those were blown up, and all these covers were all over the hotel. It was very weird. But so conventions, that's convention. A summit is basically the original meaning was actually uh, between the heads of state, but nowadays it's it definitely doesn't just mean that. It's really used to describe any gathering of people who care deeply about the same topic. So it's in a sense a little like a convention, but there's a little more wanting to learn more versus a convention. Yes, you do learn more, but it's also sharing of ideas at convention, and conventions tend to have interactivity happening. They do have panelists and things like that, and a summit is a little less like that. A roundtable is super uh, smaller, it's more compact, and it's really a discussion and a meeting of a bunch of different same level people. So there's not usually one person standing there talking at you. It's kind of the sharing of ideas of a bunch of different people. And then a conference is really just a formal meeting or gathering of people to work through and talk about a specific subject. And those tend to be pretty large. They can get real big. And I'm sure we have all been to conferences. And a symposium, which I love that word, is a smaller version of a conference. So it's sort of the same idea. It's a meeting or a discussion of a certain subject or topic, but they tend to be a lot more scaled down and a lot more intimate. So why host an online event? Why do it? Why participate in it? It's a really great way to build an email list quickly. Depending on how many people you have registered and signed up, it could draw awareness to your brand and your service and your product and what you're doing. And it can hit a wide range of people. It can also help establish and sort of align you as an industry leader because you're up there, you're the subject matter expert, and you're talking and teaching and showcasing what knowledge you have. It creates long lasting quality content for future use that you can then monetize for other opportunities. For instance, recording your webinars and selling them on your website. And it can also give your company credibility. So it goes in line with that, aligning you as an industry leader. And it's also a huge part of a marketing funnel to funnel people into your product or your service. And that kind of leads me into the marketing funnel that I always like to talk about that looks like a peacock feather. And I love, I love that Sarah said that. Again, the marketing funnel is such a huge, important piece of really your marketing plan and understanding that journey that your client or your customer is taking from start to finish all the way through. And this helps lead you down that roadmap to connect them all the way to that, taking that action. So online events really land in a couple of different spots on the marketing funnel. So it's 100% and a great way to bring awareness about to yourself, your company, your products. And again, awareness is the very top of the funnel. So this is capturing the widest audience. And this is a wonderful way to capture a huge amount of people. It might be a very general topic that you pick and you're able to connect with a whole bunch of people in order to pull them in. It can also fall on the second tier of the funnel, which is the interest and engagement. So this is where you're educating your clients on what it is you can help them with. And so once you've captured this wide audience, you can really funnel them in and nurture them into this interest and engagement with a series of webinars or a conference or a summit. So they already know you, and now you're pulling them in even more to build that know, like, and trust. And thirdly, the third layer, the consideration, again, webinars can land in here too. Maybe you've been nurturing them with a summit, you've been nurturing them with some webinars, and consideration is, okay, I'm going to buy that series of videos that she's been talking about, or buy that course that I've been learning a few things in the webinar. Let's purchase that course then. And it can really help deepen that connection with that client, the more kind of webinars and the more they get to see you sort of face to face. So the whole, well, of course, at the end of the funnel, the action. So the whole funnel has to work together. Again, I've talked all about this, but if you're just doing a webinar and that's all you're doing, it's not going to pull them in. There's so much more to it than that. But we're focusing just on online events and webinars. And truly, the number one mistake that I keep seeing my clients making and other people making is giving yourself enough time to prepare and market the event, because, well, we'll get into the details on why, but time is probably the biggest thing that I've seen people do. And all it takes is a little bit of planning, and you'll be able to really lock in a system and get yourself organized when you're promoting your online events and webinars, and start getting seats filled. So when you're planning an event, there's so many things to do on your to-do list. You got to choose a topic, first of all. And it depends on, okay, is that topic something I can talk about for 45 minutes to an hour? And do I have enough knowledge and depth of knowledge to answer questions that might come up? And then you have to write that event description that's going to pull people in. It's going to make them understand what it is they're getting into. And that's where you're gaining that interest. Then there's presentation prep and how to put that presentation together, making sure the timing's right, making sure you're covering everything that you want to cover. And then, of course, the promote. And this is one bullet point, but there's so much to promotion on social media, email, other sites. And then you definitely need to be setting goals and understand where you want to get to. And then there's, while you're promoting, there's nurturing your audiences, and there's two audiences. There's the audience that hasn't signed up for your event yet that you need to nurture and promote too. But then there's the audience that has already signed up for your event that you still, and this is a piece that I see missing a lot, is you still need to nurture that audience that has signed up. And I'll dive into that a little bit more. And then you want to fill those virtual seats, and you need people to show up. And then also, after the event is over, there's still some work to be done. And that is another piece that can sometimes get overlooked too. So what I'm covering today is just a piece of a digital download that I have. It's 73, 74 pages, but it's really the 30-day roadmap to marketing your event. I'm going to give you just a piece of it today because I can't cover the whole thing in one little workshop. But stay to the end because I have a discount code that you can use and apply to the purchase of it if it is something you're interested in. So I'm going to be referencing this kit, and when I say that the virtual event kit, this is kind of what I'm talking about. And here we go. So this is the communications calendar. We're going to dive in and look at 30 days breakdown of when the touching points are that you need to start marketing your event, all the way up till the day of your event, and then following post-event time. And this is something I'm going to send out in an email, so you don't have to worry about screenshotting it. I mean, you can, but I'll give you guys this as a PDF, and it's something you can use over and over and over as you prepare for events. This is a generic communication calendar, not, you don't have to follow it to the T, but this has proven successful, not just for me, but also for my clients that we've used. And I break it down. Week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the week of your event. And here we have it on a Tuesday, but you can slide that event date around, so that Thursday or that Monday, whatever works for you. And then I have at the end week 6. So again, right here is the date of your event, and this is post-event time. So let me kind of go over this and break it down a little. There's a key on the left. So anything turquoise right here is just things you need to do for your event, just prepping, just behind the scenes prep work that needs to get done for your event. And then this green sort of color, minty green, is email marketing. And this is email marketing to your audience who has not signed up for your event yet. So don't get confused between the two different, there's 2 email tracks that you're following. And this one is to the people that have not signed up for your event yet. And then the blue color is social media. And this is all your social media postings and interactions. And that can be posts going live, posting on your stories, like, it encompasses all those things. And then the yellow is personal touch. So this, I'll just explain it now. It's super easy. So this is engaging one-on-one with someone, inviting them to your webinar, your event, or your summit, or whatever. I'm just going to say webinar, and I mean all the different things. So personal touch is a little more work because you're only messaging one person. You're either picking up the phone, you're calling them, you're messaging them on Instagram, DMing them, you're sending them an email, you're sending them a text, your LinkedIn message, however it is you want to contact these people. Yes, it takes time because you are one-on-one contacting them, but the ROI of personally sending someone a communication piece and saying, hey, listen, I'm hosting this webinar. I thought of you. I think you'd really enjoy it. Here's the link to register. And that's it. It does take a little bit of time, but honestly, when someone gets a personal invite, it breaks up the noise so instantly. And your rate of return on that is pretty high. So I like to sprinkle these in throughout as we move through the week. In fact, I'd say each week doing a couple of personal touches if you have the time. Because that's how you're going to slowly build some good quality people in your event. And then lastly, this pink one right here, the email nurturing. This is your email list of people that have attended or have registered for your event. So they are in, they're ready to go, they've registered. All right, so let's move through here. Okay, let's look at week 1. So week 1 is actually prep week. So this is where you're organizing yourself, you're laying down the foundation to get yourself set up for success, and you're prepping. So you want to write your event description. In my marketing kit, I have a couple of different types of templates actually that you can follow to write your event description to help pull people in. And you want to set your goals. And again, in the kit, I've got a whole section on goal setting. And I actually, in the kit, there's links to videos for each week. So I talk about each week, and I've broken it out that way because it feels a little easier if you're just tackling the next week, the next week, the next week, instead of trying to think of the full month of preparing. So setting goals is so important. And it's often overlooked to do it, or you just sort of passively be like, oh, I want to have 50 people in my webinar. If you don't set a goal and you don't communicate it to your team and you don't, post it up right in front of you at your workstation, you're gonna sort of work less hard. There's something about setting a goal and having that number in your brain of where you want to get to that you just subconsciously work harder to get there. And it's very, very important to set a goal right out of the gate. There's all different kinds you can set, how many people you want to register, how many people you want to maybe also personally connect to, all different kinds. But definitely keep it simple. Only do about 3 sort of high level goals that you really want to hit so you can keep those numbers in your head. And then I have email here. So this is a promotional email that you can begin to write and start to draft and get scheduled out. And then, and this is your initial launch email, again, because we are talking about the webinar for the first time to your audience. And then here you want to prep some social media posts and get those ready, get those scheduled out. So this is a good time to, since there's not a lot of work quite yet, this is a good time to draft a few emails if you want, or draft a few social media posts and get those going. The reason you can see already, there's 3 weeks there, maybe a little bit more than 3 weeks, where you're marketing your event. The reason it's so important to give yourself plenty of time to market and get those marketing pieces out there is 2 things. So one is the rule of 7, which some of you have heard me talk about this before. The rule of 7 is someone needs to hear something 7 times before they make an action. And if you're talking about your webinar 3 days before the webinar is happening, that's a lot of last minute communication, and that's not as much touching points about the webinar as if you start 3 weeks before. So rule of 7, and it's also a really great way to capture all those early adopters. There are people who instantly see something and want to lock and load and get that locked into their calendar because they're like, oh, that sounds interesting. I'm free. Let me do it. It also gives people a chance to get something in their calendar and get it filled, get that spot filled before they're like, oh, I don't have time for that. The closer you get to the event date, the more they are gonna have a full calendar. So you'll be surprised. You'll get, as soon as you kind of launch an event, you'll get some people registered right away. There are those early adopters. And moving into week 2. So this is your launch date. All right. So you want to send out an email, obviously launching and announcing the webinar. And, I don't have time to really go into this, but in my kit, there's a whole strategy behind how to talk about an event and how to pull people into that event where it doesn't sound salesy and you're not just like, come to my event. So there's a whole strategy all the way through that you can follow, which I don't quite have time for today, but this is you're making that announcement, you're posting it on social media, you're sending out an email, launching and talking about it. And you're also setting up a welcome email. So that welcome email contains all the information you need to give to them in order for them to know, okay, I'm locked in, I'm loaded, here's what I need to do, here's the dates again, a reminder to put it in your calendar, things like that. And then it's a little early to be getting close to any kind of goals or anything, but it's a very, very good habit to be checking your goals every week. And I would say at the end of the week, recap your goals, or at the beginning of each week, check your goals and be like, okay, I'm 20% into my goal to reach 100%, you know, or I had 50 people I wanted registered. I had 5 people this week. We got to push. So just revisiting those goals is going to help you kind of push to the next level. Okay, week 3. So week 3, you're hitting it hard now. You're promoting, you're talking about it. This event is coming up. You want to send an email nurturing to your audience that has registered. And let me just say how important it is to nurture that list that already signed up. If your event or webinar is free, it's even more elevated and important to make sure you keep communicating to that audience. And you want to communicate to them things they're going to learn, maybe problems that they're facing, and how your webinar is going to solve those problems. And by continuing to ping them each week as you build up to your event, they're going to continue to remember, oh yeah, that's right, I did sign up and I found value in that, and this is why I'm finding value in it. And they're going to remember, and they're going to keep being locked in. And this is really important too. Let's say you run some Facebook ads, which I've had clients and I've had success myself running Facebook ads for an event, especially a free event. And it's great because you're getting a lot of new people coming in. But what's not great about it is they are not, you know, they're not your mom, they're not your friends, they're not your colleagues. Like, they don't know you from anyone. So if you are not nurturing them and building that know, like, and trust throughout the time that you before your event, then they can easily forget about you. They can easily forget they signed up for that event. They're not fully committed. It was free, or maybe it was $20, $25. They're not 100% committed and locked and loaded. So you've got to nurture them in order to keep them. And of course, so I recommend 3 social media posts a week. Again, you can do however many you want to do. In fact, that dot should not be pink, that should be green, because you're going to want to send out a promotional email to your list that has not attended yet. And the great thing about email and social media are the contents are interchangeable. So whatever content you put in your email, your promotional email, you can break that apart and create 3 social media posts out of that, for instance. So now you're not recreating the content in the email and the content in social media. So in the kit, I actually break it down and show you how you can build. I have templates in there, and I show you how you can build your email out and then extract that information in order to build 3 social media posts from that. Okay, so week 4, we are hitting it hard. In the kit, I have a list of power words. So power words are things that create FOMO. They create that, oh my gosh, I really need to sign up for this. It creates this sensitivity of time, and it's running out and you have to sign up. And really generating that sense of urgency, that sense of, okay, I'm really serious. I need to get this going. And you're gonna see your registrations start to uptick a lot here, because so many of us are last minute, for sure, last minute people. And this is kind of the sweet spot where registrations go boop, 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 and you'll start to see them go up. So again, you're hitting it with the nurture email. So you're talking to your audience again, you're getting them excited. You're like, oh my gosh, we're like a week away. I can't wait to share this and this and this with you. And then you, again, 3 social media posts, a promotional email. And here's where you really want to hit it hard with the personal touch. And you're reaching out to those key people, asking them to share with friends that might also be interested. And then it's really important to revisit your goals. So where are you at the end of this week, knowing that you have less than a week away? Where are you at? What other things can you last minute push through? So this is like go time, week 4, and really, really getting it going. And then we hit week 5. So this is the week of your event. And again, in this calendar, it's on Tuesday, but of course you can flip this around and readjust your dates and your touching points. And you want to send, in my kit, I suggest sending a few building up to your event date to the people that have registered. So you can say, 2 days away, 1 day away, 1 hour, and we're starting, which is very typical and very industry standard. And you don't have to get as detailed with the nurturing in those emails. It's basically straight to the point. Here's the Zoom link, grab a pen and a notebook, and we're ready to go. Also send out another email, another promotional email saying last day, final day. You can even do, if your event's later in the day, you can say, today's the day. If you haven't registered, do it now. Countdown has started. And infuse the communication that you're doing with the power words. And I have a whole list of power words to use them in the marketing kit. And then, there's your day. Yay. Event day, you did it, you launched it. Da, 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 da. But the work isn't done. And this is a piece that I actually see missing for a lot of people. And it's something that first, it's even myself, even for me, it's hard to do. It's hard to stay on top of. But this is your sort of post-event work. So you want to send a wrap-up email, and let's say you had a special deal in your webinar. You want to repeat that special deal that you had, and that it's a time-sensitive deal, and you know, they better register, they better buy now, they better whatever. You want to check your goals. So how did you do? Did you hit all the marks that you did? And then have a post-event evaluation. Let's say you surpassed your expectations. You're like, okay, well, what did I do that actually made it past, you know, surpass my expectations? Or maybe you just didn't quite hit those goals. What could you have done different? And write those notes down, because you're going to want to remember them for next time. And here I have, so the day after the event, you can always send it on that event day later in the day, whatever you want to do, whatever works. You can send the replay at this point as well, or any resources that you reference in the webinar. And then I would say, let me skip over to here. So week 6 is the week after your event. Let's say your event day is on Tuesday. Sending an email, thank you for coming. Here's the replay. Here's the deal. If you have a deal going and it ends Friday, send another email on Friday. You know, don't wait till that Sunday that I have here. But let's say your event was on Thursday, you can send your wrap up on Friday and then a follow up on Monday. So sending 2 to 3 emails, pulling people into your offer or what you've got going on is not unusual and can be a really smart move. So that is it for now. Let me pull out of here and stop sharing. And I will leave a code to download the event kit if you were interested in the chat, and also below on this video. And also a link to grab that. But I want to open it up and see any questions or any experience that you've had, like differences when you have time to promote it versus you don't really have time to promote it. You just kind of threw up an event and hoped and prayed that it would fill up.
I don't have any questions. I was going to say that's super helpful. Sasha and I are considering doing an online webinar at some point. So this is a good place to start, because I've never done it. So
yeah, give yourself plenty of time. Because that truly is, like, I get it. You have the idea of a webinar and you pick a date and then you start talking about it a week before, which can sometimes work, but it's so much better if you actually prep and have that slow simmer and build and get that excitement going, and then boom.
Okay.
Yeah.
I found that hitting people on multiple touch points is super valuable, because you even like when somebody sends me a personal invite, I'm so much more likely to sign up.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's more time consuming for sure to be like, okay, let me think of like 10 people to send something to every week, but your rate on a return, it's always higher. It truly is. And it's always nice to connect with those people. And even if they can't make it, you can, you know, follow up with something else on there. So it's like just a little like pinging and keeping you on top of mind that I think is super valuable.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you have something to say, Angie?
Yeah, I don't know if I missed it, but I was wondering, outside of the communication stuff, what are the other things that are in your 30-day event kit?
Yeah, thanks for asking.
Sure.
It's got templates for emails and both tracks. So it's promotional templates and it's nurture and how to really nurture that list that is already signed up. Because honestly, when it is a free event, or if you've ran some ads, you've got strangers in your event, it's so important to nurture them. I've seen clients not nurture their list and no one that they got through Facebook ads showed up because they didn't know that person from, you know, their next door neighbor. And it's such a waste of money. If you're running an ad, you want those people to show up. So in her mind, you know, the client, she thought that leads from Facebook weren't qualifying leads. Like they were, you know, bots or people that didn't, you know, so she thought her marketing was wrong on her ads. Like her wording and how she was funneling people in through Facebook ads wasn't right. But it actually, that was right. That was correct. She was getting people. She wasn't really nurturing them. So, and there's a way to do it. There's a way to pull people in and continue to pull them in. And then social media templates too, which can be hard to come up with, subjects and how to talk about things. And so I have those as samples. And then I supporting video for each week. You watch a video and you know what to do, and I kind of break it down and explain it, because I'm like a visual learner, but I also am audio too, and I need all of it. And they're captioned videos. So if you don't want to listen to my voice, you can just read. So it's accessibility. And yeah, so it's 73 pages. It's pretty robust, but super valuable. And it's the same sort of, once you buy it, you can use it, you know, over and over and over for every event. It's the same sort of system I use for my clients and for me. And yeah, cool. This was a fast pollinator, but some good stuff.